Hey, folks, welcome to the Lions Den. We're so privileged that you're here with us today. As we often say, we are the front porch to the weekend. So we hope we exit you out to the best weekend ever. We got a great show today. Before I tell you who we have and our guests, let's check in as we always do with Flowtown Flo. Everybody say hello to Flo.
Hey!
Hey, Flo, good to see you. We appreciate you being with us. Last time, I think you were in Georgetown. Where should we find you today?
Charleston, getting ready for that bridge run tomorrow.
No grass grows under your feet from one place to another. How did the bridge run go last weekend? I think your husband and daughter ran that down in Socastee.
That one was in Georgetown.
Okay, very good, very good. Did Bunky bring home the medals?
Bunky brought home a medal, and so did Britt.
Hoorah, hoorah. How about Flowtown Flo? Did she have any gold around her neck?
Flowtown Flo was standing by with some pom-poms cheering everybody on.
There's a role for everybody, right?
Somebody's got to stand on the sideline and cheer.
Very good. Well, Flo, you being the social media sensation, tell us this week. A lot of people have called me, by the way. They enjoy your updates. Tell us what we got going on in the PD and the coastal area this weekend.
All right. Well, today we have the Florence Wine and Food Festival. It got underway yesterday and goes through tomorrow in downtown Florence. You get to enjoy food, music, and families through Help for Kids in Florence. So go to FlorenceWineandFood.com for all the details. The PI Cats 2 away games this week, tonight and tomorrow against the Blue Virginia. You can watch the game on YouTube or listen on radio at 100.5. Puck drops at 7:35 today and tomorrow. Moving on to Saturday. City Center Florence Farmers Market for 9-1 downtown Florence. And then Addie's Baby Paint and Wine Studio has their popular Trap Paint and Groove class at 6 p.m. at 290 West Adams Street. When you finish at the City Farmers Market, you can walk down there to the Wine and Food Festival. Now, they got a lot going on. Now,
Very
also,
good, Flo.
The 49th Annual Cooper River Bridge Run, that's where I'll be. Come say hey to me now. It's the third largest 10K in the U.S., and that's where I'm going to be tomorrow.
Good deal, good deal.
And the 91st running of the Carolina Cup in Camden's tomorrow.
I shall be there. Trying to talk Zeb into going.
For all that information. Yeah. Well,
what else on tap, Flo?
What horse I'm pulling for now. It's Sweet Wheel. Is
that indeed the name one of the horses?
Now, Sunday, that's the name of one of the horses, Sweet Wheel. So you just see now, go ahead now. If you win some money, you got to share it with me. And then Sunday, we're going to have some music by Stone Martin at Holy Smoking downtown. And then we're going to look ahead. The Florence Greek Festival's April 30th through May 2nd. And Frozen, the Broadway musical at the Florence Little Theater, is going to be April 24th through May 3rd. Now mark your calendars for that.
Roger that.
That's all I got for right now, but I'll have more for you next week.
Well, we're so grateful you tune in with us on Fridays. Y'all be safe down in Charleston. Best of luck in the race.
All right. Thank you. Bye, y'all.
See you next week, Flo. We want to thank Flowtown Flo for giving us these updates. She's become a big part of this show. So many of you have asked about her, and so we'll continue to have her to let you know what's going on in the PD and the coastal region. So now I'm joined. We're back at full staff. We had Lee and Danny Ford last week. That was a pretty good show. Zach Rock was absent. What'd you think, Zeb?
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty solid show. We had the Danny Ford. Everybody loves him, and his son is running for AG commissioner. I'm sure we'll have another AG commissioner probably reach out. Somebody's running for that before too long. But yeah, I had a good time. Got to ask some questions that, I'm curious about, specifically with regulations and things like that, specifically the selling of local farmers selling their produce or their meats to, I don't know, what, peer-to-peer, is that what you would call it? Yeah, I think that's where we need to head. And we might actually get into some of that today. That is the MAHA, the idea that make America healthy again, and talking about longevity in life here. So
it does matter what
we got the experts here today. We'll see.
It does matter what you put in your
One of them lives and the other one is would you call yourself an expert?
I do.
You call her an expert?
I call her an expert.
Lived experience.
Lived experience.
So let's move on then. We've got back with us again this week is old Jack Rock. Jack Rock, we missed you last week.
Thank you.
I don't even have Jack.
Glad to have you back, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I talked you into going to the hockey game for the first time last Friday.
First hockey game ever in my life, and they realized I was there and they broke the ice and called it off.
I saw that. There was like 15 minutes of gameplay.
You was too hot. You melted the ice. You was too hot.
Broke the ice.
So I had about 5 people to send me pictures of you because I was unable to make it. We talked a little bit before, but I was unable to make it. 5 people sent me pictures of you. Here's Jack Rock.
Probably 30, 35 people took pictures, maybe more or less.
Good deal.
Well, I ain't count them.
Very good to have you back.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So we're going to ask Chad here. I stole that term from Zeb because I've watched him on his podcast. But look, we want you to engage, ask questions today. You're a big part of this. And so we look forward to, we'll be watching your chats and we'll ask your questions of the, we got one expert on the panel today. The rest of us are just novice. So it's time to introduce her. And we'll have a segment here in a moment with her exclusively. But Amanda Scott, great to have you on the podcast here today in the Lions Den.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I've been after you to come on this for some time. I follow you on your social medias, and you got quite a following, but I do notice such a wealth of information that you give. Well, I guess we call your approach holistic approach. Would that be right?
Yes, it's holistic and with a focus on integrative medicine as well. So just combining the different types of medicines out there, traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, holistic medicine, just different things to come together for a whole approach.
Very good. Well, we're going to dive in real deep with you in here in just a moment. And I hope this doesn't embarrass you because it's such a optic testimony to you. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't think this girl's not an expert. I know her, Ed. So let me give the big secret. This is your daughter-in-law. She's married to your son, Derek, who's quite a health buff himself. Your whole family's got great genes, and it looks like they just married into some other great genes. But so her little secret, I hope she don't get mad at me. I didn't get permission, but I know she's proud of it anyway because she has it on her social media quite often. You don't think that her regiment works? This young lady, I thought it was 5. I thought maybe it could be 6. 7 kids. 7 kids.
Yep, 7.
Wow. So you're a physical testimony of what the proper dieting and physical regiment can do. So look forward to talking to you more about that here in just a moment. Okay. We're going to kick off for a few videos before we get to Amanda. This first one for me sums it up. This is a video of Jack Rock. Watch this and then we'll talk a little bit about it afterwards.
Ladies and gentlemen, come out of that bed. Come out from under the dinner table. Get up the gravy train with Jack Rock. Come on, man. Come on.
Thank you. So this was about 2 years ago. Jack's got a little bit more toner since then and a little bit bigger. You remember when we did that video?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know what struck me about that video? Because this whole show today is really going to feed off the premises of something you said there. Now, you said it in a Neanderthal way, like you and I do, but it makes so much sense. If you saw, he says, come out from under the dinner table. Couldn't be more true spoken. We're eating ourselves into obesity today. And the other thing I think you said, get out to bed or something like that and move. So the whole premise of today, move your body, right? And watch what you eat. Eat for fuel instead of eat to live rather than live to eat like I've done so often. So we'll touch on that in just a minute. I've got a little personal story, and I was a little bit hesitant to show either one of these pictures, but in the order, Zeb, I think you've got a picture of me and the former congressman, and
Yeah, keep talking. I'll get it.
we'll pull it up. But this is kind of a little bit of my personal journey I want to touch on before we get started. Here's the picture here. So this is me and the congressman. This is an ambassador. I can't remember what country it was in, but we were up at Victor's eating. And I look back at this picture, and folks,
Rodney, I did not know you were that big.
so it doesn't hurt anymore. But so my point.
That actually shocked me when I just pulled it up.
So look at this. I was about to pop. If you stuck me with a needle,
What do you weigh right there?
I was about
70.
No, I was about, because I'm only 5'9" on a good day. That was about 255. That's
Food stamps at that time.
I was eating plenty, wasn't I? So I looked at this and I said, my God, I'm about to pop. In this, I was about a 40-inch waist here and tight. I mean, I was looking at buying 42s. And that's when I finally said to myself, I've had enough. I had one friend, most people won't tell you you're fat, right? And I had one friend that said it like, Rodney, you look like you're about to top out, ain't you?
Top out.
I said, what do you mean
Let's go.
top out? And he did this. And that cut me like nothing else. I started changing my life right here. See, I've always exercised, but Amanda, you can speak. You cannot out exercise a bad diet. It just won't happen. This is what I did. I'd go in, I'd fool myself. If there was a cake, and I don't even keep cake really in my house anymore, I'd go.
Secret. Don't keep it in your
Yeah, absolutely, isn't
the
it?
whole cake.
Isn't it? Yeah, I'd make it. I'd take a slither. I'd justify it. Well, let me just get a little slither in this. Well, guess what? 45 seconds, I was getting another slither. Then another slither. Next thing you know, the half of the cake was gone. I slithered myself to obesity is what I end up doing. So this next one I'm hesitant to show too for a different reason. This was a video I took out at the rail trail, and I was just trying to make a motivational video. And let's show this.
That's Jack. That's Jack and his music. Yours got music to it too?
Yeah, mine's got music to it too.
Oh.
I don't
So
care
I
who's doing
hesitate
better.
to show it because my shirt's off, but I want to make a point about this. This was about 50
I don't care who's
pounds
doing better than me.
lighter.
I'm not in competition with anyone else. The only rival I have is the person I was yesterday. Last year, I was different. I've grown, I've learned, I've improved, and that's what truly matters. It's me versus me. Every day, I wake up ready to push myself further.
So this was about a year ago, and so I was down to about 205. Now I'm about 190. But the point I want to make about that, what you also have to deal with when you're overweight, the way I was at 254, loose skin just happens. So you can still see a lot of loose. I've leaned up a little bit more now, but there was still so much loose skin. You don't have to deal with that.
I think that's a lot of old age too.
If you
that
start,
Rodney-
he's got to throw the old in every time. Go ahead and say boomer and all that good stuff. But if you deal with it on the front end, just like you, we'll talk a little bit later. You've got 7 kids that you're raising in such a healthy environment. They see what you do, and I'm sure you feed them consciously. Perhaps they'll never have to deal with this type of stuff. So that's so important to do it on the front end. So this next video, it's a bit long, and then we're going to dive in with Amanda. But this video, to me, guys, it just speaks volumes. There's so much just wealth of information in this, and many of you will be able to recognize this stuff. So let's watch this in its entirety. Then Amanda, you're going to be up.
From 1970s America, a crowded beach on a city sidewalk on a Monday morning, a school cafeteria at lunchtime, a shopping mall on a Saturday afternoon. Notice anything? Nobody is fat. Not just a few people, not just the athletes, everyone. The dads, the moms, the teenagers, the kids, the grandparents, an entire nation of slim people eating hamburgers, drinking Coca-Cola, going to McDonald's, and never once counting a single calorie. How did they do it? And what happened to us? That is exactly what this video is about. In 1970, only 13% of American adults were considered obese. Today, that number is 42%, nearly triple in just 50 years. And here is the part that should stop you cold. Americans in the 1970s were not disciplined fitness fanatics. They were not on special diets. They were not counting macros or doing intermittent fasting. They ate white bread, butter, red meat, whole milk. They went to McDonald's. They drank Coke. And they were slim. Something changed between then and now. Not the food itself, at least not entirely. Something deeper changed. The entire way Americans live their daily lives, and once you understand what that world actually looked like, you will never look at your dinner plate the same way again. In 1970s America, dinner came from the kitchen, not from a drive-through window, not from an app on your phone, not from a freezer box with a microwave symbol on the side. Mom cooked every single night. Meatloaf on Monday, pork chops on Wednesday, a whole roasted chicken on Sunday that became soup on Monday, and sandwiches on Tuesday. Nothing was wasted. Every meal was built around stretching ingredients as far as they could go. And because someone stood at that stove for an hour, portions were controlled, naturally, without thinking about it. You ate what was cooked, you cleaned your plate, and then dinner was over. Nobody drove to McDonald's at midnight. Nobody ordered a second pizza. There was no second pizza. The kitchen closed after dinner,
Jack,
and
you
that
should
invisible boundary
resonate that more than
kept an
anybody
entire
else our
generation
age.
slim without anyone ever trying. Here's something that will genuinely surprise you. A McDonald's regular Coca-Cola in 1970 was 7 ounces. Today, a medium Coke is 21 ounces and a large is 30. The original McDonald's hamburger weighed 1.6 ounces. Today's quarter pounder is 4 ounces before cooking, and that is considered the small option. A standard dinner plate in the 1970s was 9 inches across. Today, the average dinner plate is 12. Same food, 40% more of it, every single day for 50 years. Nobody sat down and decided to become overweight. The world around them simply kept putting more on the plate, and the human brain, wired since prehistoric times to finish what is in front of it, obliged every single time. We did not become less disciplined. The portions became less reasonable. In 1970s America, there were 3 meals a day: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That was it. No mid-morning snack, no afternoon handful of chips, no protein bar at 4 p.m., no mindless eating in front of the television at 10 at night. If you were hungry between meals, your mother said the same 4-word every American child saw and heard 1,000 times growing up: wait until dinner. And you did, because there was nothing to eat. The pantry was not full of individually wrapped snack foods. The refrigerator did not have 14 kinds of yogurt. There was food for meals, not food for boredom. And that gap between meals, that ordinary, unremarkable hunger, was doing something remarkable to American waistlines. It was keeping them small. Today, the average American eats or drinks something every 2.5 hours. That is not hunger, that is habit. And it is.
Okay, there's so much truth in that. Jack Rock, you probably can relate to that so much like me. We're older than this young generation that increased the size of the plates and everything else. But so much of that probably spoke to you and I, because that was our lifestyle back then. 3 meals a day, nothing in between, really no Coke or Pepsi or what people call soda. That was kind of an extra for us, so many things have changed in today's environment.
One of the biggest thrills we got at our old shotgun house growing up as a kid, every once in a while, maybe once a month, my daddy would bring a carton of Pepsis home. And to this day today, my refrigerator stays full of Pepsis.
Really?
Because of what? That's the only thing I indulge in, really, is I overdrink Pepsis. I just cannot get out of how great those Pepsis were back then. And I can't get over it.
It was a treat for us. That's why it was so good. But
Yeah.
it's a everyday beverage for a lot of households now.
Yeah.
So, Amanda, I know some of this, you and Zeb's very health conscientious. There's some things that you probably align with there, but certainly some things, because we have advanced. I mean, it isn't all bad. We've advanced in so many ways with our diet. Zeb, let's tee up her first. That's my sister. Mama made Kool-Aid. Yeah, we had Kool-Aid at our house. That was our treat. The first.
I got one little take.
please.
Rodney wants to throw shots at me. I don't get to respond back. So one little take. I mean, if I was microdosing Coke every day, I think I'd lose a little bit of weight too.
Is that what our generation's doing today?
Microdosing Coke through Coke. When did that end? In the mid 70s? Anyway, I had to take a shot at Rodney on that one. All right, what are we pulling up
Right
here?
on. She's got her clips in succession.
Okay.
Amanda, is this first one? Will that suit you if we bring that up, or
Okay,
where you want to be? You can. Any.
Well, that doesn't really pertain to the video that we just watched
That's
and
okay.
talking about that, but that is the first clip was what I do focus on first when it comes to health and healing and wellness. But foods in general, that video it had a lot of truths to it, but there were also things that are not so true. The quality of our food's so different. When that airing, what was it, the 70s, of McDonald's French fries were French fries and beef tallow and salt. Now they are a combination of all sorts of chemicals that do not contain any of that. They contain flavors that make you feel the flavor of tallow, but you're not actually getting any tallow. So the nutrition is gone and the chemicals have just been swirled into a cauldron of soup, for us to ingest, and it's not real food, it's frankenfood.
Right.
So people are seeing an uptake of obesity, health problems, heart problems. I mean, the number one killer in the US is heart problems, and it's because of the quality of what we're eating. The things that you want to call you guys boomers, I don't feel like y'all are that old, but but what y'all used to eat came mostly out of the ground, out of the farm. Like it came from the butcher, So think about the quality of food, the food chain that we have now versus what it used to look like. The milkman used to come to your door. That was raw milk, but now raw milk is demonized. And it's the weirdest thing in the world for us to want to drink raw milk when I just want all of the protein, all of the probiotics, prebiotics in my milk. And that's why I choose raw milk over pasteurized milk at the grocery store.
Right. So all these things, I mean, God put here forth in the most simplistic form. Those are things that's good for us, and I think it's all in the namesake of more profits with these food folks. Adding chemicals that maybe fill you up that really have no nutritional value. Right.
Absolutely. I mean, there's ways for them to make us want those same foods over again. They make us addicted. It's exactly what you said, microdosing Coke. They microdose us with chemicals in fast food to make us want to go back and eat that again. Just like with Coca-Cola or Pepsi. I mean, I know that there are people that like them, and no shade to that, but there's a chemical that they put in Pepsi that makes you not taste the amount of sugar that's in there. Because if you were just to consume that amount of sugar in a Pepsi, you would throw up. I mean, that's not something that would sit well on your stomach. So they add things so that we become addicted, so that we continue to eat them. And it causes inflammation in our body, And so that is a major root of all disease in the body.
Amanda, Zeb's shaking his head. I want to get his take on that, but you just such inflammation. I mean, that is such a crippler. When I was at 254, I probably took, and here's another thing, I probably took 1,600 milligrams of ibuprofen every day just to relieve my pain and to be able to work out, which was taxing my kidneys and liver as well. So that inflammation is.
You have trouble
big deal.
sleeping?
So I don't now. Now
At 254, you did, definitely.
Surprisingly not. I always worked out, but I was miserable and didn't
I
know.
touched 260 and I was like,
Well, you're 6.
It's
You're a lot taller.
miserable to exist.
It is that indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's
Fitting
it's
in
just too much
clothes.
weight to carry around.
Absolutely.
Dude.
Absolutely.
Out of breath waking up.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No question.
Let me share something with you guys. If you want to find out You see this guy with a big stomach or a female with a big stomach hanging out there. Get you a 5-gallon bucket of water, fill it up, hold it out in front of you with your arms like this right here, and try to walk with it.
Yeah.
That's at least 50 pounds of guts hanging out there.
Right.
You cannot take a 5-gallon bucket of water and hardly maneuver with it
Yeah.
hanging out in front of you.
And you carry that all day, and it does put strain on your heart. So, Amanda, there's similarities, but men and women, the composite of the body, we're just very different, right? And I'm sure you could give advice to all, and tell me if I'm wrong, but a lot you do is focused on women, particularly health, right? So take us kind of down that journey in any kind of order you want. We can pull up more of your slides on your cue, but just go kind of down your journey. What worked for you, and what do you encourage others to do?
So I would have totally sent a before picture of myself, but I didn't know we were doing that, guys. So next time. But in high school, I was around the same weight I would say I am now. And then whenever I got to college, I basically went college crazy and I drank heavily every single night. So inflammation, taxing my body. And then I would go to the drive-throughs of the fast food restaurants at 2 to 3 a.m. whenever the bar was closed. I smoked cigarettes. I did all of the things that were making my body scream for help and attention. And I got to a really heavy weight, and I ended up being the heaviest girl in my friend group. And, you talk about a little embarrassing moment when someone checks you. You get that. You're like, oh wow, it's like it wakes you up.
Absolutely awakening when somebody
Checks you. Yeah. And so I started my health journey for vanity reasons. I didn't want to be the largest girl in my friend group. That was my mental in that moment. So I'm a broke college kid. What can I do? So I started walking the rail trail that you walk, that I walk today. We've got to get Jack out there. I
There
feel
we
like
go.
he'd love it. But I started walking every day, and then I started eating salads. Like that was it. I was like in my brain, if I could just do these two things, then I'll lose weight. And I actually did. I started losing a little bit of weight. And then I lifestyle shifted. I met my husband, who has taught me so much about health and wellness and has honestly encouraged me because Jack, I mean, he learned it from Jack, to take care of himself and to work out. And so that was introduced to me. I had never really worked out before. I just kind of leaned out. I played sports. And so I started taking it a little bit more seriously, and I lost 60 pounds.
wow.
And it was enough where people were like, "Hey, what did you do?"
So it's your heaviest. What were you? Do you mind? You look, you look great now. So I think it's okay for me to ask you that question.
Oh yeah, I
I
mean,
think.
honestly, I just try and block it out of my brain. So I'm
Okay.
trying to remember, but maybe like
I
165-ish.
can't imagine you at 165.
And I've had 7 kids, so my weight has fluctuated so much. And I mean, there's so much I could speak on that, and women, and healthy pregnancy and healthy postpartum, and honestly how weird it is. You get body dysmorphia, just like you were saying, extra skin. Like if you've been overweight and then you lose weight, it almost feels like it's not enough. Like I need to do more. I need to, do more.
Often you still see yourself back because you spent all that time with me at 254. I mean, even today, a lot of times I feel like I still look
Hmm.
like that,
Yeah, and
The
we're really
dysmorphia.
hard on ourselves, and celebrating the small wins are really important. So anyway, I started getting attention from people that knew me, and they were like, "What did you do? What did you do?" So I started sharing weight loss consultations, and I knew nothing about anything. I just knew that people were asking me questions, and I knew that I could write them a plan on what I did and how I did it. And so that got so big that I started a health and wellness blog on the internet called Little Southern Life. And that's where I stored everything. And, I just talked about what I was doing.
Is there a way to point them to that blog here today?
Yes, it's
Do so.
www.littlesouthernlife.com. It's my blog. And then I have my Instagram. That's where I'm most active. Instagram, TikTok. Little Southern Wife is my handle. But I I just got a lot of questions and I'm like, here's what I'm doing. I don't know all the answers, but this is what's worked for me. And so basically it comes down to foundational, it's learning what honestly is biblically aligned with health and wellness is what is actually working in the health and wellness world, going for walks every day. Exercising is huge. Lifting weights has changed my life. And I was so resistant to lifting weights, even though I've got this guy, my husband, that are constantly telling me, to lift weights.
Fallacy for women thinks that they're going to get old bulky. Do you know how hard it is to get bulky? Just
It's so hard.
all three of us lift, and it's very difficult to get bulky. So that should be the last
Yeah.
thing on a woman's mind when she's lifting weights, that she's going to bulk up. It rarely happens just because it's so hard to do.
Unless you take targeted supplements, which I know we're going to talk about, and then just learning more about my body has made me, say, well, I want to work on this or that, but in the beginning, just honestly losing the weight and feeling better. I just felt so much better after I did it. And then I'm like, well, how do I do this on a budget? Because we didn't have a lot of income to play around with to buy all these things or to have a personal trainer or to even have a gym membership. So this is when I lived near Jack and I would just walk every day, like down the road. That was my exercise, walking, pushing my kids in a stroller or wearing them on my back in a carrier. So I didn't overcomplicate it. And that's what I love about it is I don't love that we overcomplicate it, but I love that it is so simple. It's just foundational basics that you have to stick to.
Let's get back to some of your topics on what you did. But before that, let's diverge just for a second. So Zeb and you both got young kids, which makes it so much more difficult. I watched this guy. He's streaming all day long. He's trying to work out. He's taking care of kids. He's running this errand and that errand. So, and Zeb's he's a very fit guy, big guy. He admittedly said he gained a little bit of weight recently, and I know he's focused on maybe dropping some now, but that's got to play a part when you manage kids. I mean, I remember being you guys' age. I only had one kid, and it was just so much to manage. Let's start with you, Zeb. I mean, how are you starting to I know you're starting the journey again, but how do you balance that?
It's definitely difficult. I'm sure she's got 7 of them, so I only got 2,
Really?
and it's especially when they're younger. It's kind of I've got a little bit more free time recently, but I basically took about a year hiatus from the gym, and I've been back 4 weeks, almost a month now, and so making some solid progress. I started really early on in high school, 9th grade. Went through the Marine Corps, did all that, and all the way through there. So I got like a foundation of 15 years of lifting consistently and heavy. So the baseline is fairly high, and the muscle memory is always going to be insane for anyone that has an idea of where that kind of comes from. So to kind of get back to that baseline is not. I don't think it's going to be extremely hard. I do want to cut down, and I've always had issues with like having, you could call it thicker skin, water
Your
water
family's
on the
big folks. I mean,
yeah, but
muscle folks.
at the end of the day, I got to eat a little bit better. It's a little bit better, but
That is
that's everybody. We can dive into that too here in a little bit, but yeah, that's where we're at is essentially, as you mentioned earlier, we just need to avoid really a lot of processed foods is kind of what it boils down for me, is where all of the calories are. Like all of your calories are funneled into the processed food because it's hypercaloric, so that it's satiating, and so that people go back and eat it. And we can blame the boomers and capitalism for that
Here
one
we
if
go.
you want to.
Here we go. Every little shot he
All your
gets.
But yeah, I mean, we're making progress. I fluctuated. I was 243. I'm still intaking like 2,600 calories, so it's not like I'm on a diet. My protein intake's like a little over 200 grams. So anyway, where are we at? Oh, I gained like 3 pounds. I think it was water weight because I hadn't been drinking water. Started drinking water, gained a little water weight, got 246, got sick, dropped down to like 238, and so now we're back to about 243, and it's been a roller coaster of 4 weeks to get here.
Yeah.
Right back where we started, I guess.
So-
It's not, but
So Amanda, with 7 kids, I mean, you have to so much activity. You have to fuel your body. That's got to be first and foremost on your mind. You've got to eat for fuel because there's a lot going on in your household. How do you manage 7 kids and maintain all the proper dieting and exercise? Got to be Got to be a strong work relation between you and your husband.
Well, that's what I was thinking about when y'all were talking. Is like, how funny is it that we think so hard about how we get enough protein? Like, did I eat enough protein today? Did I eat enough today? Like, I never thought about that when I was younger. And it's like the number one thought in my
That wasn't
brain
even
now.
a conversation 10 years ago. Yeah, I mean, protein never came up, and you're right. That's, I mean, it's almost cliche now. That's
Like,
part of
gotta eat enough
everybody's
today, you know?
conversation.
Gotta go get some protein.
Protein, yeah.
You know, so well, first of all, my husband's always been active, so that's been really helpful. Since we've moved to Florence, we joined a gym that has childcare. So that's not an excuse because that's the number one thing that women ask me. They're like, how do you get away? How do you go work out? I specifically found a gym that has childcare because that was a barrier in us being able to go. You know, we used to have someone that would come and help with our kids every day. And so I would sneak away. I used to go to yoga every day. And I thought I was the most toned that I've ever been at yoga, but nothing's compared to lifting weights. So it's a very big difference. So my husband and I go to the same gym and we have childcare there. Sometimes we work out together, sometimes we don't. There's so many studies about husbands and wives that work out together or go for a long walk together at least once a week. So we try to do that. And then, you know, with the kids, I would say for women, that's one of the hardest things is like you do so many things for everyone else around you that you often put yourself last. And so holding yourself in a higher regard and saying, I actually do deserve to stop and eat. And so I'll tell my kids after I make everyone their breakfast, like, okay, I'm going to sit down now. I'm going to eat my food. And then after I eat my food, we'll move on to the next thing. But I'm not getting up like out of this seat until I've finished my food because there's always something for you to do. And I also have ADHD. So, you know, I could get, you know, really distracted fairly easily, but keeping them, fed. I mean, they remind me to eat honestly because they eat so much. And you talk about grocery bills. Y'all don't even want to know what we
Can't imagine.
spend. You know, but eating well, and we are one of the older kids one day, they were like, oh, I live in an ingredient household. Meaning like, you know, there's not like a bunch of packaged snacks. We do get them every so often, but just not all the time because
That's
what's
funny.
in your house you're going to grab. If you have a whole chocolate cake there, eventually the whole chocolate cake's going to be
Slither by
gone.
slither.
And that happens in my house. Like if we make brownies or whatever, I'm like, let's just go ahead and everyone eat what they want to eat. And then let's just throw it away
You're
or
done
give it
with it.
away or whatever. Because if not, just little by little, it just keeps getting picked out. Like you'll see little finger, you know, movements in the brownie tray. So, you know, we're very aware of what we bring into the house. But then again, you know, just like you said, you love good food. There's a time and a place to eat you know, things like that. So I call them vacation meals. A vacation meal isn't going to be something that you eat every single day because if you are not careful, you'll end up eating that meal every day. You know, it's so interesting how you eat out once and then you're like, okay, well, I'm going to eat out again. I'm going to go eat. It just happens, right? Even if you don't eat fast food, even if you go to a local restaurant. So having my husband and I sit down every week and we come up with some sort of a meal game plan that we're eating before we even go to the grocery store. So we've got that foundation as well.
You know, I don't advocate for this, but there's so many little tricks of the trades. My daddy would probably roll over in his grave because he didn't believe in wasting anything. But when I would go out to restaurants, when I started my lifestyle change, you know, portions was a big thing. So when I was satisfied, whatever was left on my plate, I'd pour all this salt on it just so I wouldn't eat. And and it is wasteful.
Wasteful.
But what was, yeah, and I probably won't get a lot of positive remarks about that, but it kept me from eating it. And it worked for me. Now I'm in such a mindset that I can bring it home and eat it. And I just don't eat. I eat half of what I used to eat. Jack Rock, you know, you stay in shape, 78 years old, and you have to fuel that body. But we've talked, you eat like a bird, right? Run us through a day of your eating.
The only thing that I can say to answer your question is once you get down to a certain size and you can't get any smaller, no more body fat to lose, your stomach has shrunk so small and so tight that you have no desire to eat, no more appetite. I have to make myself eat.
What will you eat today? What will you eat today? What have you eat? What will you eat for the rest of the day?
My main diet is boiled eggs.
Okay, well, that's a superfood, right?
That's the main thing. I get up eating boiled eggs, go to bed eating boiled eggs. That's really what my diet.
Jack, I heard through the grapevine that you eat pig brains for breakfast.
We grew up on hog brains and eggs, and I still love it. You can still buy them in the can. Do you know that?
Amanda wants a little bit of that. I saw her expression.
I mean, really.
Fix her plate of that.
The only thing we didn't eat of the hog growing up was the grunt, and we put it in a jar and saved it.
Was the what?
The grunt?
Is that the snout?
No. Oink, oink.
What's the grunt?
Oink, oink.
That still don't tell me anything.
That's a hog grunting when they say oink, oink, oink.
I'm slow to the ball.
You big dummy.
I got you. I didn't think you were capable of such
Yeah.
thought process.
We eat everything on the hog. And you know what they did with the hog hair if you saved it and put it in a bag?
What's that?
For any of y'all that don't know this, that's what they made air condition filters out of back then.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, there's that tidbit that he brings in that you never expect, right?
You never expect it, Rodney, because you don't know if it's true or not. You don't know. It's one of those things. Do you believe it or do you not believe it? Well, let's go fast. Let's go ask Google.
Has anybody in here ever heard tell of, in the audience, ever heard tell of Willis Carrier? He's the one that invented the air conditioner in
You
1902.
told that story in here before.
Yeah. So, okay.
So, Amanda, so let's dive in a little further now, and let's start giving a little bit of share some of your knowledge with some of these women that are particularly tuned in today. By the way, the audience is growing, guys. We had a lot of extra viewers last week, so we're growing. But let's just share your knowledge now. Prompt Zeb to any one of the pieces up here you'd like him to turn to. If
Sure,
any.
go in order. All right.
That's one here, okay. So the floor is yours, Amanda. Let's educate these folks.
Let's do this.
So, really, the first thing that I look at whenever I look at our health is where we are in our nervous system, because that is what you need to focus on for your emotions, for your mental, for your physical. All of the pathways of your health and healing start with your nervous system. So having a nervous system that is not stuck in fight or flight. I often talk about how when I go to an airport, I don't know what it is, but I feel like I have 100 pounds of cocaine in my bag and the dogs are going to come get me. It's every time. And I'm like, why do I feel this way? And it is straight fight or flight. So, that feeling, that specific feeling is what I'm talking about. Most of us live in that without even realizing that we live in it. So if you wake up to an alarm clock blaring, that's already going to set you into a dysregulated state. If a child is coming to you, hey, I peed the bed, dysregulated, So the first thing that I look at whenever I talk to people is, how do you start your day? And what does your entire day look like? And so I just get people to walk through that, because most of us are living in fight or flight, and that is spiking our cortisol, which is going to increase inflammation in the body all around. So it's going to increase your heart rate, your respiratory rate, your blood pressure. You're also going to see your pupils change, which is the craziest thing. I have looked at someone who was in fight or flight, and the pupil change is, very
Larger, smaller.
larger. It's literally like you're being chased by a lion. And so what happens also what'd you say?
Adrenaline dump.
Yep, that's right. And so what happens is your body is not feeling safe. So all of your body functions are not going to work like they're supposed to. What happens when you live in fight or flight is your body is conserving energy inward. So you might often feel colder. Those people that are out there that are like, my hands and my feet are always freezing. You're in fight or flight. What's going on in your life? Let's talk through that. And so it's trying to protect your organ, your body, whenever you're in fight or flight. So all of the conservation, your blood, everything's going to go inward. And we want to try and shift you out of that. So it's really important that we are actually in rest and digest, because even if you go to sit down to enjoy a meal and you're in fight or flight, your body can't absorb it. Your gut cannot absorb the nutrients. You could eat the healthiest thing out there. You could have all of the supplements, the best wellness plan, but if you're stuck in fight or flight, your body can't even absorb the nutrients and get on the path towards healing. So that's the very most important thing for all of us is honestly, I say to start with a really good morning. And it's springtime, spring forward, the time change. This is the perfect time of year to get up and watch the sunrise. So instead of an alarm clock, just getting trained. Do you get up with an alarm clock, Jack, or do you just wake up?
Nope.
Just wake up. Just,
Me too.
I mean, eventually you get to that point if you have a good routine, right? And so that's what health really is. It's going to look a little bit different for all of us, but it's finding those natural rhythms that you can get into that are going to help shift you into your parasympathetic, your rest and digest. That's when true healing helps come about. So watching the sunrise is naturally healing. That's going to really help you with your hormones in a major way. It's going to help set you up to have a good night's rest also. That tees into your circadian rhythm, which we can get into that in just a minute. But just having that moment. And I also like to read my Bible in the morning and center myself, even if it's one chapter. I've learned something is better than nothing. So sometimes I'm like, oh, I can't just go get my Bible, right? So I downloaded the Bible app on my phone. Like, stop making excuses, and if I have a child wake up that's earlier than me getting that alone time, I'm like, crawl into my lap and I'm still going to read this chapter and then we'll move on about our day. But finding something regulating and calming in the morning is really important to set your day, set the tone for your day, and help you shift out of that.
Recognizing that is such a big deal because I imagine some of the folks that you advise, they've never even thought of that. That's not even a part of their thought process. So making them aware of that, I guess, is the first step, right?
And I mean, think about it. Think about how many times a mom probably hears mom all day long. Or like if you're at home and your dad, you just hear it and it is taxing on your nervous system.
You can relate to that because, I mean, you help out with the kids quite a bit here, don't you, Zip?
Oh, yeah.
So I tell my husband, I'm like, we're the ones that have to be regulated, like, good for us. Yay. This is so exciting. But like when you grew up and you didn't necessarily even understand what that meant, like it's hard sometimes and you have to sit there and deep breathe before you react, So having the mental change of like, I am the temperature of my home, how I feel resonates outward to the people around me. People will complain about their kids and they're like, my kids are horrible. I'm like, well, what are you like? Because it really stems from you. And that's really
reflection.
hard sometimes
Absolutely.
because I've been that way, like I've been the one that was dysregulating my house. So how honest are you going to be with yourself in order to get to that next level of healing?
I don't want to go too far out on this point. It just arose in my mind. I speak to my sister quite often. She's a school teacher. And to your point, I mean, she's confronted with all these different personalities and, she makes the case, she loves teaching, but she makes the case that they're very unruly. So good chance that not a lot of that's happening in the household. And when you've got 30 some kids you're teaching and they're coming at you with all these different things, you really can't control that. How about it, Jack Rock?
Not trying to mess up y'all's professional discussion here.
That's why we got you.
But your sister Vicky put on there a while ago
Oh, Lord.
that made thoughts come back into my mind instead of all these Pepsis I drank. She made me have a flashback of way back when. We talking about 100 years ago. The old people made Kool-Aid. They made it in the foot tubs.
Oh gosh, were you talking about? Yeah, you talking about that funky Kool-Aid?
Yeah.
What they call that, PJ or something?
It come in a little patch just like it does today.
That's how Mama made it. There was always a picture of Kool-Aid in the refrigerator.
But when you got a big family, you don't just make one little thing. You have to make it in a foot tub.
Right, and I think the little package cost like 5 cents a piece, so it was real economical.
Sugar water.
Yeah, I mean that's all it is. It really is.
Ours was sweet tea, so
Colored sugar water.
Well, so I was hooked on Mountain Dews. That's what got me up to 254.
Yeah.
And of course, the Mountain Dew.
Your kidneys were probably screaming.
Don't you? So I probably drink 3 or 4 a day. And who I tell people all the time, and this is my country slang, a Mountain Dew ain't fitting without a honey bun. Yeah. So about every time I had a Mountain Dew, I had a honey bun. So I was, I wasn't fueling my empty calories were steady going into my body, with no energy to speak
like when
of.
you drink beer, you can't drink a beer without a cigarette. That's what they tell me.
Do you smoke, Jack?
I have Listen, y'all talking about this stuff and cutting back on food and stuff. I have smoked my whole life.
Really? So that's
Yes.
unbeknownst to anybody.
Since I've been a little kid stealing my daddy's cigarettes. And
Nicotine.
3 months ago, and if they say a person that can quit smoking can conquer the world. You've heard that?
That's such an addiction. Yeah.
I quit 3 months ago.
Okay.
Yep.
All
Now,
right.
have I quit for good? I don't know, but I ain't had no desire for one. But glad you brought that up so I could mess up.
I put you on the spot. I knew you wanted to feel better
Hey,
about
I'm
it. Because I seen smoke coming out your window here a couple weeks ago.
You're just
I'm going to tell you how stupid us human beings
We can
are.
do that, Amanda.
I'm going to tell you how stupid us human beings are. I'm going to use me for an example. You already know this, but I'm going to share it with people that don't know me. A man will get out there and jog 5 miles, 6 miles, come back to the house and smoke 3 cigarettes. He's got a problem.
Well, Amanda, that's not part of your regiment. Let's continue on and give some more good advice.
I mean, you're right though. Eventually that's what it gets to is it, I just went and ran 5 miles. What am I doing smoking a cig? Like
Counterproductive.
You know what my daughter Tamara told me when I told her about it?
What?
She said, Daddy, you don't do nothing wrong. You need to be a little
Little
sinful.
something.
You
You need a
need
little
to do something wrong.
Yeah. Tell her to call me. Let's continue, Amanda. What else would you like to share with our folks today? And prompt Zeb on any of your slides there.
that one.
Mhm.
So that was that one.
The circadian rhythm.
Mm-hmm. So that is what I was sharing about earlier with the sunrise and sunset. You want to talk about a great drug. What did God do for us by painting the sky so beautifully in the
Amen.
mornings and at night?
Amen.
It's like our own little, personal artwork every day. So I feel old talking about this with you guys. I feel like this is my grandma tendencies, but I love watching the sunrise and the sunset, not only because they're beautiful, but because I feel the difference in them. So just getting out in the sun is one of the most amazing healers that God gave us. Like to think that we're told that it is going to kill us is one of the craziest things that I hear. It's not that's killing us. It's the food, it's the seed oils, it's all of those other things that we're putting into our body. The sun is one of the best doctors on the planet. And if you know me, if you tell me that you're sick, I'm going to be like, you need to go outside. You need to bundle up and go sit in the sunshine for 15 to 20 minutes because there are so many healing benefits from being outside. And that's where my family is right now. They're outside, and I love it. We spend so much time outside, and I know Jack does as well, sitting outside all the time. It's so good for you, but in the morning specifically, you're going to see this help change your blood sugar regulation. So, I mean, even if you eat that honey bun, if you were to have that honey bun, but you go watch the sunrise, you're kind of offsetting what you did in your body. And it's going to help you naturally move through a 24-hour cycle. And then at nighttime, when you're ready to go to bed, you're going to be able to go to bed instead of having insomnia. So that's really important for all of us. And that's a free thing that we can do. It doesn't cost any money. Just go watch the sunrise.
Courtesy of the good Lord. That's part of my regimen. I usually get mine in the morning, and I've kind of time it where the sun's going to break. It's the most special time. I didn't know I was getting all these benefits, but I do feel it because it's such a time of peace, and it's my favorite, in fact.
And when you are up and you hear, the birds outside, I'm like,
Everything's
geez,
coming
y'all are
alive.
just so chattery, and just talking so much. But birds, that is another thing that helps shift you out of fight or flight into rest and digest. So going outside for a walk, but hearing bird song is healing, and it literally shifts you out of fight or flight into rest and digest. And one of the ways that they knew during war that it was safe to come out, that things were, that it's over, that they could, come out of hiding was when they heard bird song. So it is naturally something that God's given us as well to help us shift out of what the world puts us in, what waking up and looking at your phone first thing does for you.
Yeah. Truly all the answers is right there. You mentioned it, the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
or the secret to everything is right there. You just got to dig enough to find it.
I mean, really, in all of the training that I've done and all the things that I've learned over the years, it really is biblical. Everything that I do in my life now aligns with scripture when it comes to my health and wellness specifically. Even getting up and reading scripture rewires your brain. There's neuroscience studies happening about what happens not only when you read scripture, but when you speak it out loud. The Psalms, for example, is a great thing to think about with your health and wellness. You're not meant to house all these emotions inward. You get 3 days of feeling an emotion to get it out before that emotion is trapped in your body, and it's called stored trauma. So speaking out loud the things that you're feeling, lamenting, giving it to God, that is also healing.
Yeah, speak it. Speak it. I hear that, so often. All right, what else we got here? Let's so the gut. I'm still learning because I've had to kind of step back and really learn the right way. And my focus was also always exercising and not the fuel for my body. But one thing that I found out over these last 3 years, how important gut health is, especially Jack Rock as we get older. It becomes more important. I'm trying a little stuff now, and I'm probably ill advised. I probably need to have a session with you. But I turmeric and some of these other things I boil and I drink in the morning. It talks about how it resets your gut, how it inflammation, things of that nature. So I'm drinking beet juice in the morning.
Oh, that's so good.
Okay, good. That's good. Because
You're
I'm just
naturally flushing your system when you do that. That's it's like not well, beet juice contains niacin, so you're like detoxing. I just started reading about this the other night because I'm going to also do this.
Right.
This is the time of year where we're meant to naturally detox things out.
right.
So your body will really adapt to that
Yeah.
easily.
I drink about a cup every morning. And then also the ginger. I've been trying that. I mean, that's pretty good medicinal stuff, isn't it? At least what I'm reading it is. So I do the same thing. I boil the ginger and I add a little lemon in it and I pour it in a big old glass and I drink a little bit every morning before I get started.
You know something I think about listening to you guys talk about this stuff? There's a bill coming due in your life. And if you don't do what we're talking about here, the bill's going to come due and you can't pay it.
Mhm.
It's hard to pay that bill.
Right.
I'm 78 years of age. Do not know what a medical doctor is. I do not know what a hospital is. Don't know nothing. Don't go visit no rest home, nothing. Do it any kind of. And what it is you keep your bills paid. You know how we're supposed to pay our literally bills and keep them paid up? That's what you're doing when you're doing what you're talking about, Amanda. What you're talking about.
Yeah, agree.
If you don't pay them bills while you're able, they'll come due and you can't pay them.
Well, Jack, right. Amanda's realized this earlier in her life, and I think Zeb has too. But for us, I'll tell you now, the vanity. Of course, everybody wants to look. I want to look good in my clothes and want to feel good and all that. But honestly, I've got a son, and now I'm trying to extend my life. And Jack Rock, I know you can relate that. Young folks. I mean, you almost think you're invincible. I mean, big old Zeb here, Marine Corps, done all the stuff. He's really a physical specimen to some degree. But it's really not in your mindset right now to extend your life. Is that fair to say? Because you think you can live forever.
It's a trade-off. It's a trade-off. I mean, I could walk around at like 205, 210 and know that I can live to 89 instead of 87. So it's like, what's the trade-off? I think I'd rather be, 230, 240.
But the quality of life too, like we spoke
and
of.
enjoy a piece of cake every once in a while.
Well, I still do.
Yeah,
that.
me too.
I still do.
I
that.
love a good piece of cake.
Amen. Talk more about the gut if you're prepared to, Amanda. I mean, how important is that?
Oh, yeah. Well, your gut is basically connected to your brain. So you can think about it in that term of how important it is. And most of us do not have good gut health. And a lot of women that I interact with, and how you were just saying earlier, how you can see the inflammation, the gut is screaming for help and it's telling you that something's wrong. So that bloating that we're experiencing isn't just bloating, it's not just age, it's your gut saying, "Hey, something's off here." And we live in America that loves antibiotics and pushes antibiotics for everything. And I, along with Jack, I can't tell you the last time that I've been to a medical doctor, because I do believe that there are better ways out there for most things. Now, if I break my arm, am I going to go to the ER? Probably, but if I have a cold, I have researched enough. Some of my friends call me Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman, and I'm like, that's such a big compliment. But just look like if you look 30 years ago, 50 years ago, maybe let's go back that far, 50, 60 years ago, people knew more about their health and their wellness. They knew what to do. Versus now, it's just go to the doctor, tell them my symptoms, here is this prescription, and you leave. And that's not doing anything but causing more problems. Just like you said, when you were on you were taking a ibuprofen, I mean, that's going to mess up your gut as well. And you take that, and then that's going to mess up your kidneys, so it's linked to more than one thing. So we are seeing an abundance of overprescribed antibiotics, not only in ourselves, but in our children. And then these severe gut issues happening with that constipation. Women are not having periods, and that is also connected into your gut health as well. So even talking about fertility, all of that is connected there. So how do we change that? You can start wide, and you can say supplements, medicines, whatever, or you can do things like you're doing. You can drink the warm water in the morning with turmeric. That's going to help flush your gut out. That's going to make a difference. You can take probiotics. You can eat probiotics. I'm a big fan of eating the majority of the things that you're taking versus taking a bunch of supplements, because I can't stand to take a bunch of supplements. It's like eating, horse pills. Who wants to just sit there and just swallow like 50 things? And it's expensive. Good gracious, to like have a bunch of supplements. So I'm a big fan of taking them in the form of food, and especially like I'm trying to think. Kefir, have you guys ever heard of that? That's a really good yogurt. Have you heard of that? Kefir? Okay, anyway, so kefir, kimchi's really good, sauerkraut, things like that, fermented things are really good to eat for your
I had
gut.
kimchi in Korea.
Mhm.
When I visited Korea, that's a staple in
Mhm.
their diet. You're speaking of doctors, and look, I'm an advocate for doctors as much as anybody. My son's a doctor, but you go there, and their job is to what? To find something, right?
Mhm.
And so often it's something that you didn't even go for. So I'm not suggesting to self-doctor, but we know our
There are
body's
good
better than
ones.
anybody, right?
They're really good. They're good doctors, So I'm not, demonizing
No,
all
I
of
didn't take
them.
it that way at
But
all.
the model that is followed is a one size fits all model versus we're all individual. Every single one of us are so different. Even talking about a female cycle, it's like you can't just say a female has a cycle every 28 days. For me, it might be 28 days, but it might be 32 days for another person. We're all uniquely different, even though we are somewhat the same. So we don't all need the same answer
Right.
given.
Jack Rock, scratch that itch. You dying to say something.
Something that a doctor told me a long time ago. I asked him, I said, I went to visit him one day, had some business to tend to, and his doctor's office was slammed full of people. And I asked him, I said, what in the world could you do to keep these people from filling your office up every week? He said, that's simple. I said, well, tell me so I can share it. He said, if you ain't got no insurance, you ain't coming up here. He said, insurance people come to my office just because they got insurance.
Yeah.
And I load them up with medicine. That's what they want. I give them what they want, and they go home, they happy.
Yeah.
But he said, insurance is the biggest health problem that I know of that people in the United States has got, insurance.
Right.
If you ain't got none, you ain't going. You got to pay the bill.
That's so true. Let's share the love here for a moment. Mercedes Coleman, she's a regular here. Glad that you're here. And look, we got some family love down here. Derek Dwayne Scott, that happens to be the husband of our guest here. And he says, oh, girl, you pretty.
I wonder where he gets that from.
Oh, to that point, now, how do you feel that your children's got some of that blood running through them? How you feel about that, Amanda?
I can give you the answer to it.
Oh,
I had a beautiful wife.
okay.
Hey, and talking about exercise, that's what attracted me to her.
Yeah.
Was she was a bodybuilder
okay.
when I met her.
Nice.
That's what her degree in college was athletics.
Yeah. So your sons, I mean, they're just like you. They're built, got great genes. We got some more love. Tamara, your daughter says, "Hey, y'all loving this?" So she's watching here today. Amanda, we got a few more things to cover, and I hope you can stick around if you can't. But let's, as we come to the end with you, let's talk about other important stuff that I don't want to leave anything out because you're a wealth of knowledge. What more would you like to say to folks here today?
Well, going back into what I was sharing a few minutes ago about the 28-day cycle and then the 32-day cycle, there's something that's really intriguing to me. And one of the main things that I specialize in is teaching women what their cycle actually is. And I hope it's okay to talk
Certainly.
in these links here with a bunch of men, but men have a 24-hour cycle. So you're flowing through all of your different hormones in a 24-hour period. Women flow through a month of different hormones. So every month, every week during the month, the 4 weeks during the month have different things happening. We're literally like 4 different people.
So I'm kind of getting that now.
You don't understand.
Right? Yeah.
I've seen 4 different.
But like my husband has done, he has learned my cycle and we align better.
Okay.
He knows what support I need at different times of the month. So what happens in our hormones is our estrogen and our progesterone go up and down in that graphic that I shared. And we have 4 different phases. So we have our menstrual, follicular, luteal, and then your premenstrual. So what you're going to see is 4 different women throughout the month, and we need different things at different times. So, during our menstrual period, we need more rest. We don't need to go and, weight lift the heaviest weight that we can. We don't need to overcommit with social things. We need to be at home during those times. During your follicular is like, your springtime, and it aligns with the seasons. God made women's hormones to align with the seasons. So your menstrual aligns with winter. So in the winter time, women are actually supposed to be more at home and under the covers, getting warm, under blankets, warm socks, things like that. Spring is when you're kind of emerging, just like the flowers do. You're going to see your personality kind of come back. And then you have your ovulation phase, which is like your pretty princess phase. That's when, you and your husband need to go on that nice date. Whenever he's flirting, you're flirting back, the vibes are there. And it's not just like, why are you looking at me, and then that lines up with summer energy, the things that we do during the summer. And then your luteal aligns with fall. And that's when you're supposed to, draw more inward. But if a woman focuses on herself in 4 different ways throughout the month and gives herself, different exercises, different foods, different herbs, different types of rest, communication, and connection, then you're going to see your hormones naturally shifting where they need to be and back into balance. And that's the whole point of what we're talking about with health and wellness is getting back to balance, getting back to homeostasis, which is your natural balance. Your body does that. That's the way God created your body to do. So it's like peeling back the onion layers one at a time on your health and feeling, and looking at what do I need to do next to get back to that balance.
Yeah. So I'm hearing this also creates harmony in the household when the 2 are connected in this matter and understand. So good for you, Derek, that you've embraced this.
He had no choice, but
Amanda, stick around. We're gonna talk about a few more little subjects. Going to involve Zeb a little bit more because he's probably more well versed. But we're gonna play a video or 2, and I'd just like to hear your take on it. Hit this fasting, Zeb. I think we've all done some of this. Or whatever that was. We can go whatever order we had.
That's it.
Sorry.
Give me 2 seconds. Let me get these off screen.
trillions of your cells are making a decision: repair themselves or fall apart. There's an ancient system buried inside your biology that controls which one happens, and most people have no idea it even exists. It's called autophagy. The word literally translates to self-eating, which sounds terrifying, but it's actually the opposite. Picture a crew of molecular
Most of y'all
recyclers
familiar with
moving
that
through
term?
every cell in your
Who's it?
body, identifying broken parts,
No.
dissolving them,
I'm not a
and turning the
scientist.
raw material into brand new cellular machinery.
No.
It's destruction.
Autophagy.
Autophagy? Yeah. No, not me. I mean, I haven't studied the body like that, like the gut health. I mean, I've learned a little bit today, so
So really, I mean, that's fasting, right? I mean, it's talking about reset your cells, resetting. Are you familiar with this term, Amanda?
Well, there's different types of fasting, and it's biblical. Once again, going back to biblical foundations, God asked us to do 3 different things: read our Bibles, pray, fast.
Fast.
So we are supposed to be fasting. And that's a very intimidating thing. I get it. It intimidated me. There's 24-hour fast, there's 48-hour fast. The one in particular of this that you showed is a 72-hour fast. That's when you hit autophagy and your body actually starts eating.
Reset, right?
So it goes in and it cleans up basically what needs to clean up. So let's say you have a knee problem and you need knee surgery. Before you go get knee surgery, you should fast for 72 hours because your body's going to send stem cells to your knee and it's actually going to help repair it. The body was designed to heal itself. So that's basically what this is talking about and what it's encouraging us to do. Now, you're not meant to do 72-hour fast like every week. That's a little extensive. You would definitely need to prepare for that, but quarterly, that would be a really good thing for you to do. And especially if you have an ailment, if you have a gym injury, things like that, anything that you have going on, if you fast for 72 hours, it sends your body into autophagy and it sends stem cells where it needs to go and heal. And I want to shout out his other son Dwyer because he does stem cell injections, and you've gotten a stem cell injection, right, Jack? And they're wonderful, but they are not covered by insurance, right? That's thousands of dollars that you have to pay. So when people are faced with things, like this, where it's surgery, pay thousands of dollars, you can fast. It's free, So I encourage it. I think it's wonderful for all of us to do.
I've incorporated a little bit of that in my, my lifestyle, just simply for the weight loss, and that has worked. I mean, I'm talking 16-hour fast, and let's entertain this question here. This is, I think, one of Zeb's followers. What are the common thoughts on black coffee and fasting? Any remarks on that? Either one of you?
You looking
Are
at
you
me?
the founder? Is that
No,
why
I
this
don't
is-
fast. Well, I mean, I've done a little bit of fasting. I mean, obviously, intermittent fasting was big a while back.
Yeah.
I would call running like a keto diet. Like that's a type of fasting, right? Putting your body into ketosis. I've done. I don't think I've done 72-hour fast. I probably should.
Would know.
I thought about doing full on just like a 30-day water fast, but that's a little extreme.
So there's even evidence that, I say there's evidence, I've seen people speaking on it, resetting cancer cells with extended fast. Do you buy into that, Amanda?
Well, we all have cancer cells in our bodies. And this is something that I'm extremely passionate about speaking on. My mother had 2 different types of cancers diagnosis whenever I was young, breast cancer and then leukemia. And she had a double mastectomy and she did radiation for her leukemia. It almost killed her. And then she found this ad in her oncologist's office for an experimental drug at MD Anderson Cancer Center and started going and was put in 80% remission for that. But then as I got older, she got her COVID vaccines. And then she was diagnosed with a rare form of blood cancer as a result of the COVID vaccine. And then my dad had pancreatic cancer and diabetes. So I watched them grow. The way that I grew up was their identity was formed around their cancer, and so I always suggested things to my mother to try to offset, what was happening. But she was very medical minded and, I'm going to go do chemo. But we all have cancer cells in our bodies. Your body is meant to fight them off, to kill them. A strong immune system is what you're looking for. So yes, you can actually fast and kill those cancer cells. That is truth, and there are people out healing right now from cancer by doing that very specifically. And then the 40-day fast that you were talking about too.
So quick thumbs up or thumbs down to fasting?
Oh, thumbs up.
Zip.
And the black coffee thing, no, that would break your fast. If you want to do a real fast and you wanted to have something, you could drink turmeric ginger tea. That would just help flush your system and not break your fast.
Gotcha. Let's move on to
that fast break is because of the caffeine. What would the fast break from the black coffee be? From the caffeine?
Yeah, it's just stimulating.
Stimulant. Okay.
So let's take a look at the carnivore diet. That's a popular diet today that a lot of people swear on, but I do hear some opposition. So let's watch just a piece of this.
All right, let's see.
Products and salt. But unfortunately, this rule allows patients stalled with no roadmap to guide them to the next stage of their metabolism. Maybe you've been carnivore for a while. You feel better, but the scale hasn't moved in weeks. Congratulations. This means your metabolism has advanced. You've graduated from novice to intermediate. If you're an absolute beginner, just start the carnivore diet and that golden rule is going to be all you need. Ride the wave of weight loss and come back to this video in 8 to 12 weeks when you've plateaued. If you're intermediate, here's the system I've taught patients for years to get their best health on the carnivore diet. First, eat fat first. When you started carnivore, simply cutting the carbs surged a wave of ketones through your system and mobilized fat cells. Maybe your fat to protein ratio wasn't perfect, but it didn't matter. Just unburdening your metabolism from those constant insulin spikes is enough to see powerful results when you're at the beginner stage. But now that your body has adapted, getting those ketones requires you to add fat intentionally. Adjust your menu and eat fat to the point of true satiety. 2, eat 2 meals a day.
So is this too good to be true? Most of us guys, we just love to meat, but it's got to be, she had a white coat on, which doesn't mean anything. What's your take, Amanda?
I mean, we're not meant to just eat. We need a good, healthy, rounded diet. Not to say that you can't do this, from time to time.
Or is it a jump start maybe?
Yeah. I mean, but let's say you have a poor digestive system. You don't need to eat that. Your body can't even absorb it. So I would look at that as well. But once again, going
that's the
back,
toughest thing to break down is these big meaty proteins, right?
And going back biblically, what would you do if you were in the Old Testament? Would you eat like that?
Not in the Garden of Eden.
No, I mean, think about, I don't want to say when the Israelites were in the desert. Let's go back before then. Whenever they were in Egypt, and what would they eat in a day? You wouldn't eat that, So what would be realistic? Someone would go and they would kill an animal, and then everyone would eat that, and they would eat grains, and they would eat fruit, and they would eat vegetables. So you need a good rainbow colored plate.
Right. What say you, Zeb?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely sold on it. I think it's an extreme measure, and which it is. It's very extreme measure. I mean, there's some more recently people like Jordan Peterson. I think Liver King we've talked about before. These guys, and Jordan Peterson's daughter, she had autoimmune issues. They've gone on these diets largely to kind of flush their system out and then reintroduce things. And so, as you kind of mentioned, maybe a starting point or every now and then. But the carnivore diet has a similar basis to the keto diet. It's to put your body into ketosis, and it doesn't last, especially if you're somebody like me that's trying to actually move weight. Like, you need the carbs. You just simply need the carbs to have explosive power to build, to fuel the body, really. But at the end of the day, and I think she kind of hinted at it here, is like any diet that you go on is largely just going to remove calories from your normal intake. And so when people first go on diets, whether that's, I don't know, a Mediterranean diet or whatever, that change is going to just simply remove calories, and the loss of weight is just going to come with it naturally.
Right. I think the only value is the jump start. So when I started my journey, I did do and I was just learning, I did do the keto. And I'll tell you, once you're in that keto stage, ketosis, that's what they call it. I mean, you can drop a lot of weight very quickly, but I don't think it's sustainable, So Thumbs down, thumbs up on the carnivore, Amanda?
Down.
How about you?
Thumbs down.
How about you,
down
Zeb?
every.
I mean, I would thumbs up it just for the lulz right now. I mean, I eat a lot of meat. I enjoy the
Yeah, me
meat,
too.
but
Me too. No.
I love a good steak.
yeah,
Yeah.
steak and eggs. I
And
guess
eggs.
I guess eggs
Yeah,
still
boiled
counts.
eggs.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on past the carnivore. What do we have next here?
This
Broccoli
chick-
with mustard powder every day.
Now the buzz is around
Mustard
retatrutide,
powder?
the
Broccoli's really
GLP-1
good
plus
I
GI
do eat a lot of broccoli too.
glucagon triple agonist. This
Okay,
is
now
where
we're
things get
talking
really
about
interesting.
what are we talking about? Oh, peptides.
Retatrutide. Oh, did I skip one?
No. Okay, we're not talking about peptides. We're talking about.
This is peptides.
Well, you stay with that. We'll go ahead and start with the retatrutide. I don't even know how to say that, but that's a GLP, right?
Oh, you want me to go back?
That's whatever was after that. It's okay.
Where are we at? Talk to me, Ronnie.
Go to her.
Okay, you want to start
That's
peptides?
the GLPs. Well, is that?
This is retatrutide.
Let it run. We'll see what she says.
Now the buzz is around
similar.
retatrutide, the GLP-1 plus GIP plus glucagon triple agonist. This is where things get really interesting. You know, GLP-1 tells you you're full. GIP helps move energy into muscle while pulling it out of fat cells. And glucagon increases energy expenditure and lipolysis or fast cell breakdown. While the hormone glucagon alone can be catabolic, when it's balanced with GLP-1 and GIP, it drives the body to burn more fuel and mobilize more stored energy for the muscles and the brain to use. And that matters because it's likely helping spare muscle while losing fat.
Go ahead and stop there because I think we can all talk enough about this. So, Amanda, I can predict how you feel about these things. So many people today, I got to tell you about all my friends, I'm going to be frank with you, are on a semaglutide, tirzepatide. Is this an
It's a
advancement here?
massive market. It's insane.
Massive.
But what
It's a
she's
huge market.
But what she's saying is that more advanced than the tirzepatides. That's the newest thing. What she was speaking of.
Well, retatrutide isn't available in the same way Wegovy is. Retatrutide, the only way you can get it is like from China or from gray markets. From my understanding,
It's not
am I wrong
FDA
there?
approved here in the States.
Am I?
You already.
Yeah,
know.
I don't think so. But it implements in the same way. But from the understanding and the trials that we have already for retatrutide, it doesn't break down the muscle in the same way that a Ozempic or Wegovy or whatever the other one is does. Just a pure GLP-1?
Jarno and all those.
Yeah.
So the reason why I'm not involving you much is in this with Jack Rock, because this is not something you really need here. But Amanda, I got to tell you, so I literally everybody I know is on these compounds, and so I'm immediately I want to kind of strike it down, but I can't because I have seen some. I don't think it's sustainable. I don't think it's something they can do the rest of life. But I have seen people really lose weight on these things, and I know there's a backlash on that a little bit. But talk your way through that. I can tell by your facial expression you are not a fan.
Well, with everything that you do, there's a risk. There is something that is happening after you take it, and the side effects outweigh any of the pros in every situation that I look at. There's nothing that would ever make me want to take that, even if I was 300 pounds. We live in a world that is very focused on how can we get results very, very quickly instead of doing the hard work. And it takes a lot of hard work to lose weight. Just like you said, it's going to take a while. It's not an instant thing. And to me, it doesn't make sense that we have created a drug for people to lose weight from the foods that they were eating, the toxic foods that are causing the inflammation, that are causing these things. To me, it would be like if we have a bunch of chemicals in our tap water, are we just going to create a drug that makes you not thirsty? You still need the water. You still need the food. So it's actually, it's not helping people take anything into their own hands other than that instant result. They need to be taught how to eat. What is healthy? What is causing the inflammation? Is it the honey bun and the Mountain Dew? You need to make some lifestyle changes. It's hard. So it's not sustainable. The side effects stand out. They're just not great. I mean, any of that is not appealing to me. So
Can you tolerate it from the standpoint of diabetes, addressing that thing? you still maintain that you can treat all that by proper eating, right? Feeding your.
Yeah.
How about you, Zip? Certainly don't call any names, but you've got to have many friends that's experimenting with this too. Because I got to tell you,
It's everywhere.
it's
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
such a market, big market.
if somebody doesn't know that, somebody that's on there, you know, I mean, you can look at just look at the TV. Like look at who's it? Mike Huckabee right now. I mean, he's a skeleton compared to what he looked like 2 years ago. I mean, look at talking about skeletons. Look at all of the celebrities.
They're
And
on
this is where-
Pawn Star. Have you
Yeah,
seen
this-
her? I mean, it does change the
Was,
structure of
What
people's
makes you-
Ariana
faces.
Grande?
What
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
you think that you're not going to have health issues? You know what I mean?
Well, they
Like,
are having health issues.
They
And
are. That's
They're
what I'm
literally
saying.
going
They are.
blind.
Yeah.
Literally going blind.
So
for
let's
running
be
on this.
skinny, but I'm going to go blind. Like it's okay.
Well,
It
they,
doesn't
And a lot
make
of
any
good
sense to
issues.
me.
I mean, it creates a lot of good issues too, right?
Yeah, I mean heart issues too. There's a whole plethora.
let me
plethora
throw
of
this one
things.
at you. Here we go. It makes people thinner, therefore they go to the doctor less, and therefore my insurance goes down. I am pro putting them on skinny medicine. I'm just
Is
kidding.
that real?
That was a joke. No, I mean it's tongue in cheek, I guess.
But you know,
If people did that and they didn't go to the doctor, I would love to see the results of them not going to the doctor more. I'm pretty sure that every person that takes it would go to the doctor again and have a side quest. You know, like, well,
Oh.
now this is messing up with me. Now this.
If they
now
stay
it's
on it,
this.
I think on a short term, it's not.
And see, I've
it's
seen a
not
bunch
as
of people
taxing.
take it short term and then they get off of it and then
And
they
they go
gain
right
all the
back
weight.
with it. Oh yeah, for sure. No, I'm not denying that at all.
That's my problem with
so
any
many don't
diet,
incorporate.
really.
So many people don't incorporate that
Mhm.
physical exercise
Yeah,
along
I mean,
with that.
that's the
You know,
key. You've got to move your body. You
Absolutely.
can't sit down.
Back to Jack Rott's first video. Come from out under the dinner table, quit eating so much, and get out that bed. Move that. That's why we played that clip right from the start. Because you said it all in the very first clip, and you didn't even know you said it, Jack.
Did you know that there's 80 different?
Jelly Roll lost the roll.
Yeah, Jelly Roll's lost probably 100,
There's-
120 pounds. You don't think it's him?
Oh, we got another conspiracy. Oh, that's all we need to do is add in
Those
one more
small-
conspiracy.
Conspiracy theories that they come true.
That's his point, but I'm still battling.
I haven't heard that one yet. That's
we
not
were
Jelly
keeping
Roll.
up pretty good.
We're not the same human
I'll
being.
jump on board with it's not Jelly Roll. Let's go.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
God. I knew you would.
No,
I
that
knew
wasn't
you would.
Jim Carrey.
All I
Would you
need is two of-
believe-
all I need is two of them now, picking on the baby boomer.
Would you believe that there's 80 different FDA approved peptides
We
on
get
the
ready.
market?
Stay tuned. That's going to be our very next. I
Okay.
think that'll lead it. Are we finished with this one? We got a big thumbs down on that from Amanda, and I think we got a.
I'm on board. I would
short-term-
say I would toss it up similar to the category of carnivore. Like if you're really serious about it, you want a little bit of a jump start. Like okay, maybe we can play with it, but like long term, I would definitely say no.
If you want to jumpstart, cut alcohol.
Well, you could do that.
Immediate change.
You know what? That is a poison in itself. And, you know, I do enjoy it. Dinner on Saturday night when I go out, maybe a glass of wine or wood drink, and that's about the extent of mine. But now it's so
Different.
well, it is, but it's still so much in my mind. Letting that I worked so hard at this that to let alcohol, you know,
There's a word for what you're talking about. It's called in anything moderation.
Yeah,
My,
absolutely.
you know, drinking. Did
Yeah.
you know that you can kill yourself drinking water?
Too
You
much.
drink too much water and wash the electrolytes out of your bloodstream.
Amanda brought me
I
my
mean-
electrolytes today, so I'm good.
Come on, man. You know,
Yeah.
moderation.
Absolutely.
Food, weight loss, nothing but moderation. You know,
Say that word one more time, so you can reiterate.
moderation.
Jack Rock could grab a hold of a word, and you're gonna hear that word for the next month.
Well, I will.
I heard reiterate till
I
I
will reiterate.
There you go. That's right. All right, let's see what else we got. Do we got anything? I think we got peptides and maybe one more, which I know very little about peptides.
I'm gonna give you a definition of.
Watch
peptides
this
when
first.
You get time.
Yeah, watch this first, and then we'll let you comment first.
You can give me what a definition of peptides.
Yeah.
Peptides are really just short chains of amino acids. So if we go back to like our high school science days, amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. So when you think about a peptide, it's really just a really tiny protein. What makes a peptide really cool is that your body recognizes it since it already makes all of these proteins, like thousands of proteins every day. What it is it's just a signal. So it's like a little messenger that goes into your body and tells it to do a specific job. So like BPC 157 or body protection compound 157 is signaling to your body to heal itself, right? So it's telling it, let's stimulate more blood cells, let's bring more growth factor to the site of an injury. Because your body recognizes these proteins as like its own natural protein, it's a way more efficient and safe way to get your body to do things that we need it to do. When we think about proteins, the big thing we think about is like muscle repair, muscle gain, that kind of stuff, right? Did you know that insulin is actually a peptide
let's
too?
go ahead and stop
So
it. All right, I wanted to play this first hat, right? So I didn't want you to say anything that didn't align with what the expert says. So tell us about peptides.
I'm going to tell you the definition of it.
Mm-hmm.
Peptides are short strings.
Did you get that out of the encyclopedia?
No, I just wrote it down.
You don't know what encyclopedia. You don't know what encyclopedia is either, do you?
Here is an encyclopedia.
That Brainhauser group that you got there's an
There's
encyclopedia.
computer chips in there, son.
Yeah.
Short peptides are short strings of amino acids. They're linked by many chemical bonds that's building blocks of proteins. Now, here's my question.
Mm-hmm.
If it's all a building block of proteins, why come you don't do like I do every week? Half of my grocery bill is at Walmart's buying.
Where's your grocery bill from? I'm gonna break him over this. Y'all help me on this. Where?
Walmart's.
Say it again.
Walmart, singular.
I can't get him to do it.
There's
He's gonna
more
have
than
that is.
one Walmart.
Carry on.
Well, if the
What am I doing,
definition of
Zeb?
peptides is what I just wrote, it's all boiling down to the proteins in the body. Well, why not do just like I do? Every week, half of my grocery bill at Walmart is half of my grocery bill is the protein. What do you call it? Whey. A jug of protein whey and your little drinks just full of protein.
Right.
One of them costs $35, the other one $25. What else half of my grocery bill?
Right.
Well, if what I just read, what peptides is, why not just do what I do?
Well, so let's dig a little deeper. So I did have an expert who was going to come on today. In my hometown, there's several, particularly females, that are really taking these peptides, and I mean, they are a wealth of knowledge on it. But as I understand it, and Amanda and Zeb, y'all correct me pretty quickly, peptides are really chemicals, substances that we currently have in our body, right? That maybe we may be a little deficient of. So isn't that peptides just boosting what we already have? Am I accurate there? Tell me more about it, Zeb.
Yeah, close enough. I mean, here's the deal: is they're gonna ban them when it comes to, they're gonna treat them like steroids for too long, just because they work.
Mm-hmm.
They do work. I'm not saying they don't have side effects, but they do work in what they do. She named one there, BPC 157. It's a repair peptide, and it works. And then you can stack that with other peptides like TB 500. I think they've renamed it now, and a couple of others, and you can do this. And again, it works, but they're different kinds. They do different things. It's like just because you drink an Ensure over there doesn't mean it's going to turn into Ensure proteins in the body. But yeah, I mean, what's the question?
So does these peptides need to be monitored by a doctor? Because you can obviously, to know the quantity would be important, right? Of what they're injections.
Well, yeah.
Right?
So some of them will increase your like GH production too, and so like that would be an issue if you have too much GH in your body, growth hormone. You'll look like some of the bodybuilders out there. A lot of them are like arm wrestlers are just their hands are just swollen,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's just from growth hormone. Their heads will get swollen too, but I don't think the peptides are gonna pull that much GH out of your body. But it will help you produce more GH. Anyway, they all do different things. But But even on the peptides, I remember like 4 or 5 years back, like everybody was on SARMs. That was SARMs are a steroid that produced to aid in cancer recovery or AIDS recovery or something like that. And they all did different things too. And I would put them in the same area as peptides. And it's just kind of a wave. I don't think peptides are going to go away, but they will be regulated pretty heavy pretty soon.
Yeah. Amanda, your thoughts on peptides?
And there are different ones for different. NAD is the one I'm most out of. They're out there, and I know that they are for so many things: weight loss, healing. And I mean, just when you were talking, I'm thinking in my head like just someone having access to like needles and the jars. Like I think you do need some guidance there, not just okay, well I'm just going to inject myself. Like, do you even know where to inject your power? Like there needs to be some education.
Right. Very good. Hey, great conversation up to this point. Let's end with this as we're hour and 35 minutes we've been going. Doesn't seem that long, but I think it's been very informative. We had a lot of engagement here. So we talked about one side of the equation, and that's what we intake and our emotions, things of that nature. Just a wealth of information. But physical exercise. So let's just quickly go and kind of tell us the Cliff Note version of your, what do you do as far as your regimen with physical activity? Give us a day in the life of Jack Rock.
Starting the day out, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like a man was talking about getting your day straightened out.
Yeah.
When I get up in the morning, whenever that is, a lot of times it might be 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock. You know how when you're retired, you're liable to wake up anytime, But when I get up, I drink my coffee. And every morning I tell God, I hate to do it to you, bud, but you got to go. I know you hate to go work out, but I'm going to put you and Jesus and the Holy Spirit through it today, bud. I'm going to tack you out. Every day I tell them, they the only people I got.
Well, you ain't tapping Jesus out, brother.
Hey, I know he's already built. But my day starts out slowly doing curls like today. If I worked out today's my day off because of podcasts. We use any excuse in the world not to work out. Podcast is my day off. But my day starts out with light curls, light benches. And as I go through the day, I'll get like maybe an hour or two in. Curls, light benches, and I go rest. Take me a little rest. And I do it in intervals like that all day with the upper part of my body. And it's workout, rest, till I get 10 hours in. I do it like I'm on a job working, and I got to put in 10 hours. The next day is leg day. Everybody hates the leg day. I do 500 tiptoes. I do 500 squats with body weight. That way, when you get my age, you ain't tearing nothing up. You know what I'm saying? All this big, heavy weight squat. Where is that doing you any good?
I'm trying to get big, Jack.
Huh?
I'm trying to get big.
Well, that is a young man's game because I was there too. I love pushing heavy weights back in the day. But you're right, to your point.
But I go lightweight. I go lightweight in my curls. I do, because the most popular muscle in your body is your bicep. So I do cheat on moving up with weight. It would be heavy to me, but not to use it. But I do it. My day like that is every day, 6-7 days a week. It's just a job that I got to do.
Well, that bicep's a vanity muscle, though. You do know that, but you don't apologize for that, right?
Oh, and let me tell all of you something you already know. I'm going to reiterate.
Lord have mercy.
I'm going to reiterate you. It ain't easy. It ain't easy. But when you walk in the restaurant or the juke joint and everybody's looking, especially ones that know you what your age is, and you get all that, it's worth it.
Okay.
It's worth it.
Okay, Mr. Vanity. So, Amanda, the life and day of a workout in with you. What does that look like?
I am the opposite. I am an introvert, so this is my extrovert. I am introverted.
Yin and yang.
Right. So men's hormones are different from women's, right? So it's really good for you guys to do the same workouts all the time, but for women, it actually puts more stress on our hormones and we can actually hold on to weight. So the last few years, I've been cycle syncing my workouts. So whenever it's the menstrual time of the month, I rest a lot. I go for walks. I try to walk several times that week. And then on the weeks that is, not that, I alternate based on what phase I'm in, how heavy I lift. But I'm pretty much doing the same exercises. So I lift weight, and then the next day is my rest day, my active rest day. And I go for a long walk. That's when I'll go for a long walk on the rail trail or, with a friend or with my husband. And then the next day I work out, and I do 2 leg days a week. I love leg day. It's my favorite day. But I alternate so they're not back to back within a 24-hour period.
Right. Yeah. We do all
every
this.
day.
We do all this for our mentality too, right? More so maybe for my mentality than my physical body. All right, there, big devil dog Marine.
What's my daily?
What does a day in the life of a workout with Zeb Boykin?
So I run push pull legs, rest. That's 7 to 8. Sometimes I don't rest. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. Push pull legs, push meaning chest, try, shoulders, and then pull day would be back buys and then probably traps. Sometimes shoulders if I didn't get them in that day. Just a different type of shoulders. Anyway, rear delts. Well, that's specific. But and then legs, and I'll rotate like deadlifts one day, and then that next leg day I'll do squats. And so it'll focus on posterior and then quads. I do heavy calves because we need to grow the calves. We got to treat the calves like everybody else. But anyway, so that's, I don't know. It takes me anywhere. It depends on the day, depends on what's going on. 45 minutes to an hour, 15. But if I'm going really heavy squats, it's going to be a little bit of a longer day.
Gotcha.
And so, I do that in the morning, drop the kids off and then go work out and then come to work and get everything set up for stream. So
Very good. You have to work them jaw muscles too, don't you? You're in here screaming every day.
my throat's been killing me lately. It's stressful. No, I'm just kidding. It's it'll adapt. We'll get there. Maybe I'll take some peptides to recover.
Well, you're looking kind of pretty today. Look like you
so?
maybe groomed up a little bit. Got
I definitely cut my hair.
Got
You
your
like
jacket
that?
on?
You like
I didn't say I
that?
like it. I just said you
You like that, Rodney?
said you changed up. So mine's very unconventional. I've been working out since I was 12 years old when they told you it would stunt your growth. Don't mess with them weights. But I did, right? And so today, there's not a day that I don't go by that I don't get in excess of 20,000 steps. I'll walk in the morning, run. I don't run anymore. I've run 3 marathons in my time, but now, the joints aren't what they used to be. So now I mainly walk, but I'm running a little bit more. But pull this not video, but maybe that. So I incorporate so many things. I play tennis once or twice a week, pretty competitive tennis player. I do this cycling, this spinning. I really enjoy. There's a crowd, these girls here, they're obsessed as well as working out. And I'm in that picture as well. So I spin with them kind of on a regular basis, but I like to diversify stuff. I really do. And I lift weights virtually every day, which every expert will tell you not to do that. Sometimes I do the same body part because they need rest, but I don't subscribe to that anymore. I just kind of do my own thing. And so far I've kept the weight off and I feel better than I've ever felt. So my key point when I get home and I settle down, it bothers me if I don't have more than 20,000 steps on my Apple Watch, and sometimes a good bit more than that.
I had somebody make a statement to me one time that do you think you're going to increase your lifespan any at all by this jogging and working out you've been doing your whole life, Jack? Mm-hmm. I said, that's not the point. That's not the object of the preposition. The object of the preposition is
that the right word, preposition?
It's just something I made up.
I thought you did. That's why I called you on it. We love each other. We can do that. So.
I didn't know what kind of words to use. So, okay. Thank you for calling my hand. English teacher.
Anytime, brother. Anytime.
But I told this guy, that's not the object of working out. the length of time that you live, because we all leaving here.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, we're leaving.
Right.
But the point is, to me, is the object is to feel good
Quality of life.
while you're here.
Quality of life.
Because if you feel good, you look good. And if you look good, you feel good.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's not the point of when you going, how long you going to live.
Mm-hmm.
While you're here, you're living a better life.
Absolutely. I see Brian Edwards down there. Brian was on our podcast. Y'all remember Brian, the State Farm guy that was in the martial arts? Well, and that's another component that I've often thought about getting in. Brian is one of the most fittest guys you'll see. You remember he was so lean, and I hear a lot of folks talking about that now, incorporating that in their regiment, martial arts. But look, this guy wins. He wins tournaments and things of that nature. Glad you're with us, Brian. Guys, we're going to close it off. Amanda, I can't tell you how you really dressed the place up today. I have to eyeball these guys every Friday, so it was a different little look today, seeing you over there. But so glad you came in. I think you added so much value today.
I got one thing I need to ask you guys, since Amanda's here and she's more or less talking to the female audience. I got a question to ask all of you. What was the last creation that God created?
So you're talking to Zev, because I've told you over and over, number one, don't point that finger at me, and don't be asking me no questions.
It's
I ain't got no answer.
question.
So you asking Zev.
What was the last creation? Here, okay, I'll give you a hint. God said it was the crown of all my creations. What was it?
You're
not going to answer it?
You don't know because you ain't answering.
It's us. It's humans.
She got it.
Who's she say?
The woman?
She put 2 and 2 together and got it. So I brought that up to let you girls know how important the female is to God. It was he saved the best to the last.
And to us.
And remember this, and I share this with all the females that I talk to. All the disciples run and denied Jesus on the cross. Who stood with him? The whole bottom of the cross was full of women.
Mm-hmm.
They were ready to die for him. Then they didn't deny it. So, okay. Thank you, Amanda.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Any last words, Amanda? Zev, any last words for you?
Jack said it all.
He always does. And he'll have another one if we don't go. Anything for you, Zev?
No, I mean, I'm good. I mean, the episode's on life and longevity. I mean, Jack's what would you say, 86? I'm just kidding. What is it, 70? You're almost 77, aren't you? Where you at, 77?
78.
78?
I'll be 79 in August.
Yeah, that's pushing it. So, I mean, he looks great for that age, and obviously he's doing something right. Whatever that is, we'll find the secrets one day. But I mean, everybody wants to live forever. We talked about that on the episode not too long ago. Was everybody wants to go to heaven? Nobody wants to go now, as a country song used to say.
Yeah.
And we talked a lot about the natural aspects of it and peptides and utilizing basically anything under the sun that whether you claim God gave it to us or not, it is here to be utilized. I think we need to be smart about it, take into account all the consequences that come with it, and be ready to face those consequences if you do accept it.
Yeah.
So
well, very good. I had fun today, and I learned some stuff. So thanks to all of you. Thank y'all for joining us in the Lion's Den. We are living that subscription of life. We encourage you to do the same thing. Hope that this was a lot of value today to you. And join us here again next Friday. We are the front porch to the weekend. By the way, we're looking for a sponsor. Our viewership is growing, and we now think we want a sponsor. So call me if you're interested in that. Other than that, I think Jack will be going to the hockey game again tonight. Y'all say hey to him out there, and we will see you next Friday in the Lion's Den. Take care, folks.